Sam for Social TV. If you're tired of constant negative headlines, you are not alone because while much of the media focuses on what is going wrong, there's also a huge amount going right. And that is exactly why Social TV exists. We focus on positive news, stories about progress, innovation, partnerships, and real-world impact across South Africa, Africa, and the world. If you believe good news deserves more visibility, join this movement by subscribing, liking, and sharing, because balanced information helps people make better decisions. And today's story is one that may change how you see Africa. This is not spin, this is data. So why is trade a good news story? Trade may not sound exciting at first. It sounds technical, complicated, even distant from everyday life. But trade affects almost everything: jobs, prices, economic growth, investment, business confidence, opportunity. Behind every product on the shelf, every new factory, every infrastructure project, every expansion into new markets, there is trade. And when credible data is analyzed properly, patterns begin to emerge about where Africa is heading. Patterns that show where opportunity is growing, patterns that show where confidence is improving, patterns that show momentum. For the past 5 years, Standard Bank has produced the Africa Trade Barometer, one of the clearest data-driven views of how trade is evolving across the continent. Issue 5 of the Trade Barometer analyzes 10 key economies, representing approximately 68% of Sub-Saharan Africa's GDP, and what the data shows is encouraging. Not perfect, not simple, but encouraging, because perception shapes investment, and investment shapes growth. Africa's role in global trade is evolving. Global trade is changing. Supply chains are shifting. Companies are diversifying where they produce goods. Countries are reassessing dependencies. New trade corridors are forming, and Africa is increasingly part of this global reconfiguration. For decades, many African economies were positioned mainly as exporters of raw materials, but the data now shows increasing movement towards value-added production, processing commodities locally, developing manufacturing capability, strengthening regional supply chains, improving competitiveness. This is significant because value-added production keeps more economic value within African economies, which supports job creation, skills development, industrial growth, long-term resilience, and resilience is critical in a rapidly changing global economy. The Africa Trade Barometer covers 10 countries: Angola, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, and Uganda, Zambia. Together, they provide a meaningful snapshot of how trade is evolving across the continent. One of the standout insights in this edition is Mozambique moving into the #1 position overall, supported by currency stability, strong export performance, foreign direct investment linked to energy sector developments. South Africa ranked second, Namibia ranked third, Ghana and Angola also showed improvement in their trade environments. Importantly, the Trade Barometer does not rely only on macroeconomic indicators. It includes insights from more than 2,200 businesses operating across these markets, because real insight comes from combining data with lived experience. And when both point in a positive direction, that matters. One of the most interesting insights is the difference that sometimes exists between economic performance, indicators, and business sentiment. Mozambique ranks strongly on economic measures, but business feedback highlighted liquidity constraints in the operating environment, which shows why good data needs multiple lenses. Macroeconomic indicators tell one story, business experience tells another. Together, they create a more complete picture. Better information leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Business confidence is improving across the 10 countries analyzed. Economic growth is expected to strengthen. Average GDP growth is forecast to reach 4.3% in 2026. Business confidence is also improving. The Business Confidence Index increased from 59 to 65. Several factors are contributing to the shift: policy reforms, financial system stability, regional trade integration, improved economic coordination. In Ghana, business confidence improved following the removal of the electronic transfer levy. Nigeria's removal of the FATF grey list strengthened confidence in the financial system. Confidence matters because confidence drives investment. Investment drives expansion. Expansion creates jobs. Jobs support households. Households support economies. Climate resilience is also becoming a competitive advantage. Another key insight is the growing influence of climate considerations on trade performance. 38% of businesses reported changes in customer behavior linked to climate pressures. 32% reported productivity impacts linked to extreme weather. Countries are responding with climate resilient infrastructure investments. Energy systems, transport corridors, water infrastructure, agricultural innovation. Mozambique introduced a national climate finance strategy. Tanzania secured funding for flood protection. Ghana prioritized energy diversification. Resilience is becoming part of competitiveness. Countries that build resilience strengthen long-term trade stability. Access to finance remains essential. Trade growth requires capital. Business need funding. They need funding to expand production, purchase equipment, enter new markets, manage risk investment in innovation. The Trade Barometer highlights increasing sophistication in financial management across African markets. Regional frameworks such as the African Continental Free Trade Area are supporting stronger intra-African trade. Stronger regional supply chains improve resilience. Resilience supports stability. So what is the bigger story here? The data suggests Africa is entering an important phase, a phase characterized by stronger regional integration, greater industrial capability, more diversified trade relationships, improving business confidence, increasing infrastructure investment. Trade connects these developments. Trade enables growth. Trade creates opportunity. Trade supports stability. The story the data tells is optimistic, not simple, but optimistic, and that matters because narratives influence decisions, and decisions influence investment, and investment influences development. So here's my final thought. At Social TV, we believe progress deserves visibility. We believe good work deserves distribution. If you are tired of negative news and constant headlines about what is going wrong, join us to balance your content diet. Social TV is building a platform focused on credible, positive stories about progress across South Africa, Africa, and the world. Stories that matter to citizens, stories that matter to decision makers, stories that matter to investments, stories that matter to brands looking to align with meaningful progress. Subscribe, like, and share. Help us grow this alternative focus on good news. Hey, I'm Sam for Social TV.